we know that you just wrapped up the U.S. portion of your tour for JENA. It sounds like you were in D.C., Nashville, New York City, Dallas, and L.A. How did the tour go?
It was amazing. So we put together the tour before the album even came out, and I was like, I hope people come, you know, because all you can do is like try to get the music to people. You never know what's going to happen. And every show was packed, and it was amazing. Like, these are my first headline shows, and it was crazy because I've been in such a vacuum that we finished the album like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So we've been waiting to put it out for so long, and the music still hits for me, and it's cool to see that the music is hitting for everybody else too. Like, it's the most full circle moment I've had.
That's awesome. Are you able to say why there was a delay with like putting it out, or were you guys just kind of trying to perfect some things?
No, so I was negotiating my record deal. That was it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And, like,
well, good for you for putting in the extra time for that.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was like grueling, but definitely worth it. Like, it's one of those things that you can't shortcut on, you know?
Yeah, and you want to give yourself the best opportunity too to like actually, you know, make money off of this album. So good for you. Yeah, I've really been enjoying the album so far.
Yeah, and so a lot of people actually found out about your music through TikTok. So how would you say that you use social media to reach audiences or even potential fans? Are you a fan of TikTok? And how do you feel about like artists using TikToks to get ahead and also spreading out their music?
Yeah, I think TikTok's like a tool. I think at any given point in history, there's always the most efficient marketing. Like, there used to be no digital marketing, and then digital marketing was born, and it just evolves every year. So, like, there's a certain way you reach people, and there's, like, places where your energy is best spent, and that's, like, TikTok. I watched it change so many people's lives. I was like, I can't sit here and not take advantage of this, you know what I'm saying? So I think for me, I just try to be natural on it and convey who I am, because that's like all I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna I can't do a backflip. Like, I don't have any crazy shit I do, but I just make my songs and like clothes and shit. So I try to just be natural and have that come across, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of people too like are like, oh, you know, social media is overrated, but I think social media and just like building up your own platform is one of the biggest tools that artists have right now to lift themselves up and like get in touch with fans. So that's one of my favorite things, and it's cool that you see the value in that too. So we also wanted to know, is there any artists that you would kind of compare yourself to for people who are just discovering you? Are there any artists that you'd say influenced how you make music?
I would say I don't like to compare myself to people, but I would say I'm like the new iteration of soul music, you know? I think like I pull from Maxwell, D'Angelo, Music Soul Child, like Erykah Badu, and like old random shit too. I'm a record collector too, so I like just listen to I just love music, so I pick it apart, put it back together, and find what I like, whether it's like a texture or a certain instrument or a certain tone or a certain melody or a certain harmony. I'm just like I geek out on shit all the time.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome answer. I'm literally the same way. I love picking apart music. I love going out and finding, especially like at thrift stores or even like going to like record stores and like finding artists who I like and then buying this record that I never even knew that they put out in the beginning of their career, and like you just find out even more songs. I feel like that's super cool.
Yeah, and I think too it's like there's so much magic in music that was never really discovered. Like, I find some shit that is so obscure. I always pick them just off the covers. Like, either they're funny or they amuse me, or for some reason I just like them. And like I found some real fucking weird like tinky tonk like country kind of I don't know. It was like country soul music it was this guy named Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin brothers. But just like shit like that where I'm just like chilling at the crib, smoking a joint, listening to this album and trying to like put myself in this guy's shoes. And I don't even know like his level of success. He's probably barely living off the music still, or like it wasn't a huge success. So it's like, what was his story like? You know what I'm saying? How was he feeling in this moment? That shit's really cool. It's like a time capsule.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Music is like the closest thing we have to like a time machine. Like the closest.
It's crazy.
It is.
It's really fucking weird, honestly.
Yeah, and the fact that so much music even sounds so high definition back from like even 50 and 60 years is crazy. It's like, what do you mean this was made in 1972? And then obviously, you know, they do make the remasters, you know, years later. But even like when I still play records, I'm like, how did they do this? And like, how did they get the reverb right? Like, you can hear how the guitars are so clean.
And they used to have, like, bands used to rehearse before studio sessions. Like, they used to get the music ahead of time, rehearse together to, like, perfect it, and then they go to the studio. Where, like, now it's kind of the opposite, where you go in, come up with the idea, and make it right away. Or that's, like, how I do it. It's like a jam session.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting how, like, doing things different ways can kind of get the same result. But there's certain things, like, the band, you can get the same feeling from having a full band that's rehearsed or just, like, me and my friend in his living room. You know what I mean? Which is really interesting.
No, I love that. It's like, and also you guys, I know you guys do like hundreds and hundreds of takes to put the right one on the album. So that's just... I
don't do very many takes. I don't do very many takes. I took vocal lessons for a lot of years, so I like really, very anal about that shit. And I don't like wasting my time. So I'm like, I try to do like a couple takes and then just go from there, you know?
Yeah. Take what you get.
I really hate wasting my producer's time. That's what it is. I get so uncomfortable because I'm like, this guy's sitting here listening to me like fuck this note up a million times. I feel so bad.
Yeah. It's like, damn, is he judging me or what?
I know. And he's like my best friend. I've been working with him for like 4 years. And I'm like, still self-conscious about it.
Nah, you're all good though. I mean, you have a beautiful voice and you make super great music. And yeah, like you were saying earlier, it does give me like old school R&B vibes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we noticed for JENA that album is licensed to Def Jam Records. And just want to say congratulations for signing with Def Jam Records. So can you talk about what exactly that music license means and how did that happen? How did Def Jam say, yo, Felix, we want you on our team? Like, that is crazy amazing.
It was, thank you, first off. I think, so basically I own my music still. They license it from me for a term, is what it means. And that's why it took so long to negotiate, because they wanted to own my music, and my lawyer was like, no. And they were like, yeah. My lawyer was like, no. And we, like, completely walked away. Then eventually they're like, okay, well, you know what I mean? So that's just, like, the business part of it. But it happened from TikTok. So the CEO, Tenji, I think we have a mutual friend, and he sent him my album because I had finished the album. I had just finished the album, and then I was like I was planning to shop it around or like make something go viral to then sign to a record label and put the album out. And the CEO texted me like, I love the album. Like, we got to get up soon. I said, say less. Boom, boom, boom. At the same time, I was like talking to this manager. I was talking to multiple managers trying to like vet everybody because like there's a lot of people trying to work with me and a lot of fucking weirdos trying to work with me like all at once. And I had to just feel people out. So I was on the phone all the time. But and eventually I started working with my manager. Well, I have two managers, Cam and Justin. So I started working with them. We had the meeting with Def Jam. We pulled up and I told them exactly what I wanted to do. And then just took some time to negotiate it and we put it together. And then this year we've just been putting together everything else and like building the world out. So it's exciting. Next year is going to be really, like this year was a setup for next year, basically.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So would that technically be, so you're technically still considered an independent artist then, because you own your music? No, because I'm still signed
to the major label, but I just own my music. Not every artist that's signed to the label owns their music, but if they have a good lawyer, they do.
Gotcha. Okay.
I need your lawyer.
That's really cool. That's awesome to hear. Yeah. So switching gears, we wanted to talk about the album art for JENA. It kind of looks like you're underwater in the picture. How did you guys create that cover art? Is there a connected meaning with the album?
Yeah, so I had the flu really bad we had a flight to fly to Sacramento where my creative director was living. And we had everything booked. It was thousands of dollars to like set the shoot up. We had the Airbnb with the pool, the photographer, all the underwater gear and shit. And I woke up with the flu and I like could not move. And we went and I get there and the pool's cold. So we're in this cold pool. It was cold in Sacramento. And I'm just like sick as fuck the whole time. But what I wanted to capture was like, so orange is a main color in the rollout because that's like the color I see when I close my eyes, that like deep orange. And that same feeling is like congruent for me to being underwater. The stillness, you know, it was like, I think I felt this certain stillness when I was making the album, and I wanted to put people in that headspace when they consume the album. You know?
Oh, okay. So it's like, it's more of like an essence than like a actual like water theme.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And like water is just very universal too. I think it was more the feeling that I was aiming for, yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like you're also holding someone's hand. Is that any special meaning, or was that just kind of how it came out when you guys shot it?
No, so that I wanted it to be kind of ambiguous, but like it was, because it's unclear if I'm like holding their hand or they're helping me or I'm saving them or whatever. I just think that represents the way we need each other as humans, and like that we also need a higher power. And it's kind of like however people interpret it. Everyone has said something different, but that's what I was aiming for.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I appreciate the thought behind it, because I think that makes it even more special for you to have a really important intention to the album and to the art too behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite song from your album, or any track that you feel like resonates with you the most?
I feel like right now it's 2 Million. It changes like monthly, and I went through, every song has been my favorite song at some point, but right now it's 2 Million, like for the past few weeks.
That's awesome. That's definitely one of my favorite. And right before this, Nia and I were just talking too, and we really like 97 Nissan. And then of course, and then of course there's like Shoestring and all of the like Bend Don't Break, all those kind of things. But yeah, those obviously are like, people love those, and then 2 Million and 97 Nissan are like the little nuggets you just find too. So yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about your evolution as an artist over the past few years, however long you've been making music, and where you kind of want to go next?
Yeah, so I've been making music for a really long time, like 8 years, and I think, like, for me, there's a certain patience that has to come with it, because I was never in control of this shit, and I'm still not in control of shit at all. Like, it's playing out really well, but I don't know, I was putting forth the same effort 5 years ago and not getting any results. So it's just like, I think I have a certain amount of gratitude that allows me to just keep pushing, you know? And like, this album, I treat it with so much care, and the next album I'm going to treat with so much care. I just really care about the shit I do and what represents me. So I think that's kind of the next phase.
So you think like however long you've been making music is kind of a driving factor to keep you going forward and keep you pushing?
I think I don't have a choice, really. Like, I have to make music, and that's like they say like the most broken people have like the most beautiful shit to say. And it's kind of true, and I don't like romanticize struggle by any means, but I think there's a certain beauty in like getting through hard times, and that's universal and relative, obviously. But it's just very clear to me that it's what I'm here to do, and I'm so committed to it and feel it so deeply, and have seen the effect it can have on people. So I'm like, you know what I mean? I have like I'm married to it. I'm married to the game. I hate myself.
Once again, thank you so much for meeting with us today. It's really cool to hear you talk about this. I hope we can keep watching what you do. It sounds like there's an album on the way, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, in the works.
That's great.
Thank you guys so much for having me.